Welcome to my podcast. Today I will be talking about the craziest NHL trades from 2000 to 2010. Calgary Flames trade J.S. Giguere to the Anaheim Ducks for a 2000 second round pick. This turned into Matt Pettinger. J.S. Giguere went on to have a great career with the Anaheim Ducks. Matt Pettinger had a forgettable stint with the Flames. New York Islanders trade Roberto Luongo and Olli Jokinen to the Florida Panthers for Ola Kavasha and Mark Parrish. Mark Parrish was a fan favorite for the Islanders for many years, while Ola Kavasha never lived up to the expectations. Roberto Luongo was one of the best goaltenders in the league, and Olli Jokinen became the captain of the Florida Panthers. New York Islanders acquired Alexei Yashin for Zdeno Chara and a first-round pick in 2001. This turned into Jason Spezza. This is one of the worst trades in NHL history. Not only did Zdeno Chara and Jason Spezza go on to become amazing NHL players, Alexei Yashin didn't live up to expectations set forth by GM Mike Milbury. Boston Bruins trade Ray Bourque and Dave Andreychuk to the Colorado Avalanche for Martin Greener, Samuel Paulson, Brian Ralston, and a 2001 first-round pick, Martin Samuelsson. This trade was a huge shock to Bruins fans because Ray Bourque had been the face of the Bruins for close to 2 decades. The thought of him playing for another team was something Bruins fans could not imagine. Los Angeles Kings trade Ray Bourque and Steven Reinkrat to the Colorado Avalanche for Adam Denmarsh, Aaron Miller, and a 2001 first-round pick, David Steckel, and a 2003 first-round pick, Brian Boyle. A player to be named later which turned into Jared Allen. Rob Blake became a huge part of the Colorado Avalanche defense on the 2001 Stanley Cup team. Adam Denmarsh never had the same success with the Los Angeles Kings. Aaron Miller had a forgettable stint with the Los Angeles Kings. David Steckel and Brian Boyle were not good draft picks. Or first-round picks, rather. Pittsburgh Penguins trade Jaromir Jagr to the Washington Capitals for Chris Beach, Ross Lepashchuk, Michael Civic, and future considerations. This is not enough for Jaromir Jagr. He was arguably the best player in the NHL at this time. The Pittsburgh Penguins gave him away for a bag of pucks. Buffalo Sabres trade Dominik Hasek to the Detroit Red Wings for Slava Kozlov and a first-round pick in 2002. Jim Slater. Dominik Hasek was the best goaltender in the NHL at this time. Not only was he without a doubt the heart and soul of the team, they traded away Hasek for a player who asked to be traded the minute he got to Buffalo and a player that never played for the team. Tampa Bay Lightning acquired Dan Boyle from the Florida Panthers for a 5th-round pick in 2003, Martin Tuma. Dan Boyle went on to have a very long and productive NHL career with the Lightning and the Sharks. No one even remembers who Martin Tuma is. New York Rangers trade Rico Fata, Michael Samuelsson, Richard Lindner, and Joel Bouchard, as well as cash to the Pittsburgh Penguins for Alexei Kovalev, Dan Lacouture, Yanni Laukkanen, and Michael Wilson. None of the players the Penguins got back made a significant impact on the team. Alexei Kovalev spent over a little one. Alexei Kovalev spent a little more than 1 season with the Rangers before getting traded to the Canadiens. This trade will appear later on the podcast. San Jose Sharks traded Mika Kiprusoff to the Calgary Flames for a 2005 second-round pick. This pick turned into Marc-Edouard Vlasic. Even though Marc-Edouard Vlasic is a great defenseman, what Mika Kaprizov did in Calgary was absolutely stellar. He had 7 35-plus win seasons, including 3 40-plus win seasons with the Flames. Jaromir Jagr to the New York Rangers for Anson Carter from the Washington Capitals. This is one of the worst trades in NHL history. Anson Carter only spent 1 season with the Capitals. Jaromir Jagr regained his elite form with the Rangers. To make matters worse for the Capitals, they had to retain $3.7 million of his $11.5 million cap hit. New York Rangers trade Alexei Kovalev to the Montreal Canadiens for Joseph Ballet in the 2004 second-round pick, Bruce Graham. None of these two players did anything with the Rangers. Alexei Kovalev had 3 great seasons with the Montreal Canadiens. New York Rangers trade Brian Leetch to the Toronto Maple Leafs for Jarkko Immonen, Maxim Kadriatov, and a 2001 first-round pick, Chris Chukko, and a 2005 second-round pick, Michael Sauer. None of the players the Rangers acquired made any impact on the team. Brian Leetch had a forgettable stint with the Maple Leafs. Edmonton Oilers acquire Chris Pronger from the St. Louis Blues for Eric Brewer, Doug Lynch, and Jeff Wojcicka. This can be considered one of the worst trades in St. Louis Blues history. Chris Pronger was an all-star caliber defenseman at the time of the trade. They did not get enough for him, period. Doug Lynch and Jeff Wojcicka didn't do anything for the Blues. Eric Brewer was a solid defenseman, but he wasn't an all-star caliber defenseman. Boston Bruins trade Joe Thornton to the San Jose Sharks for Brad Stewart, Marco Sturm, and Wayne Primo. This is one of the worst trades in Bruins history. This is saying a lot. Joe Thornton was one of the best centers in the NHL at the time of this trade, and he still is. Jumbo Joe is one of the most consistent players in the NHL year in and year out. None of the players acquired in this trade by the Bruins played over 2 seasons with the team. Yanni Niederreiter and a 5th-round pick to the Montreal Canadiens for Mike Ribeiro and a 6th-round pick in 2008. Yanni Niederreiter did nothing for the Montreal Canadiens. Mike Ribeiro had 4 60-plus point seasons with the Dallas Stars. Roberto Luongo, Lucas Krejcik, and a 2006 6th-round pick to the Vancouver Canucks for Todd Bertuzzi, Alex Ault, and Brian Allen. This was a terrible trade for the Florida Panthers because Todd Bertuzzi didn't fit with the team. Alex Ault turned into a backup goalie at best. Brian Allen was a solid bottom pair defenseman, but this is still a bad trade. Roberto Luongo went on to become one of the elite goaltenders in the NHL in Vancouver until he signed that bad contract. Nashville Predators trade Kimmo Timonen and Scott Hartnell to the Philadelphia Flyers for a 2007 first-round pick. This pick was Jonathan Blum. Jonathan Blum was a bum and ultimately was a bust. Hartnell and Timonen became 2 core pieces of the Flyers team. Atlanta Thrashers trade Marian Hossa and Pascal Dupuis to the Pittsburgh Penguins for Colby Armstrong, Eric Christensen, Angelo Esposito, and a 2009 first-round pick. Marian Hossa helped the Penguins reach the Cup Finals that year before losing to Detroit in 7 games. Pascal Dupuis became one of the heart and soul players on the Penguins team. Colby Armstrong and Eric Christensen never lived up to expectations. Angelo Esposito never panned out. Philadelphia Flyers trade Joffrey Lupul, Lucas Sbisa, and a 2009 first-round pick, which turned into John Moore, and a 2010 first-round pick, Emerson Edom, for Chris Pronger. Chris Pronger is on here 2 times. It's amazing how all the trades involving Chris Pronger, the team receiving Pronger, basically getting him for a steal. Joffrey Lupul never did anything with the Ducks. Neither did Lucas Sbisa. John Moore didn't play for the Anaheim Ducks because the pick was traded and Emerson Edom hasn't panned out yet. New York Rangers trade Scott Gomez, Tom Pyatt, and Michael Bosto to the Montreal Canadiens for Ryan McDonough, Chris Higgins, Pavel Valentenko, and Doug Yannick. This trade is going to go down as one of the worst trades in NHL history. Basically, this trade is Scott Gomez for Ryan McDonough and Chris Higgins. Gomez was horrible with the Montreal Canadiens, and McDonough turned into a top-pair defenseman for the Rangers. Ottawa Senators trade Danny Heatley and a 5th-round pick to the San Jose Sharks for Jonathan Cheechoo, Milan Michalek, and a 5th-round pick in 2010. Danny Heatley fizzled out in San Jose and ultimately went on to ruin his own career. Jonathan Cheechoo fell off the map after 1 year with the Senators. Milan Michalek was a good player with the Senators for a few seasons. Boston Bruins trade Phil Kessel to the Toronto Maple Leafs for a 2010 first-round pick, Tyler Seguin, and a 2011 first-round pick, Dougie Hamilton, as well as a second-round pick in 2010, Jared Knight. Even though Seguin is now scoring more goals and he isn't playing for the Bruins anymore. Dougie Hamilton isn't playing on the Bruins either. He is playing on the Flames. But Phil Kessel isn't playing on the Leafs either. It's interesting how none of the players involved in this trade are playing on the teams that traded for them. So what we learned from all these crazy trades is that some GMs are flat out insane. So that's going to wrap it up for this podcast. I hope you learned something from the craziest trades from 2001 to 2010. Next podcast, I'll be talking about the craziest trades from 2010 to 2016.